This ABC15 flash briefing is sponsored by Sanderson Ford. All roads lead to Sanderson Ford.
I'm Christine Stanwood with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. A popular tourist spot in the valley vandalized. Police say this man broke into Tovrea Castle near the 202 in Van Buren. If you have any information, call Phoenix Police or Silent Witness. After more than half a century, a murdered Arizona woman has been identified. The case went cold 53 years ago when a body was found in this trunk you see here in a St. Petersburg, Florida field. For decades, this case was known as the Trunk Lady. Now we know the person inside was then 41-year-old Sylvia June Atherton from Tucson.
When the case goes cold, they may not get looked at again. So when the detectives are able to then pull back up, they're able to resubmit and go over evidence that somebody might have missed the first time or wasn't available for a DNA hit at that point.
Coming up tonight at 6, I meet with Othram Labs on how their advanced DNA technology helped solve this Arizona cold case. Health insiders continuing to monitor the spread of a little-known virus wreaking havoc across the country this spring. Human metapneumovirus, or HMPV, filling some hospitals with young children and seniors with symptoms similar to the flu and RSV. That includes things like a hacking cough, runny nose, fever, and shortness of breath. Cases peaked back in March, but the lack of a vaccine or antiviral drug to fight the virus can make it even harder for seriously ill patients to recover.
The best treatment is precaution and prevention. Now that we've let down our defenses, now that we are not as cautious, all these viruses, think of it this way, where they're just waiting to pounce, and indeed they are pouncing.
So while most people who get HMPV will have no or mild symptoms, experts say awareness is crucial, especially if you live with someone who is vulnerable. Developing now, the head of the U.S. Border Patrol is retiring in June after more than 30 years on the job. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz is stepping down after one of the busiest years in the history of the agency. It's not clear yet who will replace him. New this week, the family of a man who drowned in Tempe Town Lake suing the city. The lawsuit claims Tempe officers who watched Sean Bickings drown last May were not prepared in their response, going on to say the city does not have proper security or safety measures to prevent or respond to drownings. Tempe has worked towards some policy changes since the incident, but declined to comment for this story because of the lawsuit. Amber, thanks. As summer travel heats up, a push for more legroom. 2 Senate Democrats want the Biden administration to take another look at whether airplane seats are too cramped. The pressure would require the Federal Aviation Administration to conduct new airplane cabin evacuation tests with more realistic conditions and issue standards that include the size of seats and the space between them. Now, they're concerned about safe evacuation in case of an emergency. The FAA has declined to comment on this. Mark, thank you. A program meant to help retain and recruit educators in Arizona during the teacher crisis is doing its job. According to the director of the program, the Arizona Teacher Residency program just ended its first school year. It's a bit like medical residency, but for teachers, the first group of 22 students are working towards a master's degree at NAU. Throughout this last school year, they were given increasing responsibilities to teach in real classrooms, and all 22 ended up being hired by their participating districts. Get this, next year, they're going to have their own classroom.
Everything went smooth, the transition from beginning of the school year to the middle to the end of the school year, and I feel great about me being on my own for next year, and the transition was just smooth.
The program continues to expand. A new group of 22 students will start this upcoming the school year.
Tracking your forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Amber Sellens. Another sunny and beautiful day in the valley tomorrow. Temperatures still running a little bit below normal for this time of year. We'll start things out in the 60s and end up in the low 90s tomorrow afternoon here across the Phoenix metro area. Winds for us generally light in the valley throughout the day. We do have a few breezes back in the forecast up north and across southern Arizona. But for Phoenix, winds less than 10 tomorrow. And then same story as we head toward the end of the week. And it's actually those lighter winds that will lead to more pollution pollution problems for us too. So Friday, Saturday and Sunday, we now have ozone high pollution watches in effect that could likely get upgraded to advisories as we get closer. That means if you have any kind of respiratory condition, you're going to want to limit your time outside, or you may have difficulty breathing in the afternoon hours as that ozone pollution is building up. Here's the next 7 days for you. As the pollution gets worse, the temperatures are going to keep climbing too. By Saturday, we're back in the triple digits. We'll hold on to those low 100s through Monday.
This ABC15 Flash Briefing is sponsored by Sanders and Ford. All roads lead to Sanders and Ford.